You are looking live at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, and we have the battle of the bulls and the bears and the doves and the hawks today. It was an animal farm day on Wall Street. Anyway, the Nasdaq had a big day today and it jumped 2.64%, 452 points, closed at 17,599, which is nice. We kind of expected that. At MC Stock Charts, I posted something about the QQQs that I'll get to in a minute. But I just wanted to point out here that it closed at 0.1% above its 50. Hooray! So is this the bottom? People can ask me, is this the bottom? Is this the bottom? Well, or is this capitulation selling that we've been seeing here? Because all the big days have been, the big volume days have been these pink bars. So selling, selling. And today we finally get a blue bar higher. So this does look like capitulation selling, but we won't know until a couple of weeks and we'll look back and say, oh yeah, that was the bottom there that day. Anyway, it had a 9% correction from 18,671 on July 11th, and it reached this low here of 17,015 on July 30th. So 19 days, a 9% correction. If you listen to the great Peter Lynch, who was probably my top 2 or 3 favorite investors of all times, he will tell you in a bull market, in an uptrending market, you're only going to get a 9% correction every once or two times in a year. So this is a pretty rare occurrence. We had another one back here. So this is the second one this year. I'm thinking that the Nasdaq does one of two things here. Either it rips right back up to new highs, or it just kind of builds the right side of a base here and just takes its time going through. But we're going to find out soon enough. I had mentioned what the QQQs are the big driver of the the Nasdaq. This is the Nasdaq 100. These are the larger stocks within the group. And I was just looking yesterday at how the stochastics are showing that that's kind of been a reliable indicator of the lows. This is your 3 legs down last year as we had these 3 lows here. July, August, September, then in October it bottomed. Then we had a nice long rally, had a little base here, hit another low, right? And then rallied again. So it predicted this low here, ran up to here, and now we have another low here at this 9% correction. To me, this is a pretty good indicator that this is getting close to the bottom, and now it's starting to curl up. So stochastics are pretty good indicator there. And so I don't make predictions, I just observe, and I'm observing the Nasdaq making a bottom and then rallying through its 50s. So that's where we're at. Like I said, I don't make predictions. We're just interpreting the data here. Anyway, I just wanted to show the Russell 2000. This is a stronger index. Made a high today and then pulled back. It didn't close at the high of its day at all today, but is still up. And I just want to point out it's 1.4% above its 10 and 7.6% above this 50. So it's got to have some time to allow its moving averages to catch up. If I zoom in here, you can see it continues to find support at the 10 in the last 3 sessions. I believe it's finding support right there around the 8 EMA, which is what you want to see, right? Yeah, right there. It's just even above the 8. So yeah, the Russell is the stronger of the indexes, and the Nasdaq is lagging, but things can change quickly. Another thing I want to get to is the MDY, which poked its head above this old high here of 569.99 and made a new high of 574.12. So the small caps and the mid caps are still the leading groups. You can see this one's 4.3% above its 50 and 1.4% above that green line, which is the 10. And you look at the S&P and the Nasdaq, and they're lagging. It was a good move for the S&P to get above all of its moving averages today. You can see it's 0.5% above the 10, 0.4% above the 21. And then I guess since I'm looking at the indexes, we'll look at the Dow. which is a strong index as well. I mean, it's 30 stocks, so well capitalized stocks. So a lot of these have already reported. Apple will report tomorrow, and Amazon as well. But yeah, that's 1% above its 10 and 3.5% above its 50. So and trading above the it made above 41,000 today and closed a tick below it, but still. The Dow is up there with the Russell and the MDY, and the Nasdaq is the laggard. But like I say, things can change quickly. All right, I want to take a look at some of these stocks here today. Apple, one of the better looking Mag 7s, this one in Tesla. It rallied back above its moving averages today. And like I said, they report tomorrow, so we're going to find out, aren't we? I did mention Tesla. This is another one that's above its moving averages, closed a tick above the 10. So those two are the strongest of the Mag 7. Microsoft reported last night. Really good quarter, I thought, but it sold off 1%. I don't know. I don't know what the company is supposed to do. They, a lot of CapEx spending here. They're spending money, and the thought is that there's going to be a return on that investment, but it's down the road. So I don't know. Wall Street doesn't like to see huge capital spend, I guess. Anyway, Google reported pretty decent quarter last week and sold off, and now it's starting to rebound here, up 3 sessions in a row. Still below the 50 though, so probably not gonna take a look at that one too closely. Amazon, like I said, they report tomorrow, so we'll see what happens there. And then Nvidia, this one, I like this one a lot. It's the leader, the king of AI. Once again, people asking me, is this capitulation selling? What I look for is, these big pink bars, as it's selling off, the big days of the pink bars, right? And then finally you get a blue bar day here, big volume on a big move higher. It was up 12% today. Was that the low? I don't know. Probably so. I would say if I don't like the expression, put a gun to my head, but if I had to say, yes, I would say that's probably the low here. Made a low here and then undercut it yesterday and gapped higher today. So, like I said, if you press me on the question, I would have to say, yeah, yesterday was the low at what was the low yesterday? 10, come on, Marty, geez. 102.54. So it was a 27% correction for Nvidia from 140.76 to 102.54. 27% is quite a bit for a stock that hasn't done anything, no news or anything. Why do you take 27% off its market cap? Well, because investors just want to take profit and put it elsewhere, like in the banks and the defensive names and the things that I've been showing you recently. There's the small cap, mid cap, the hospital stocks, the managed care, they've been doing well. But if we're talking about those stocks, I mean, really, this is a bull market of AI. Nvidia is the king. And if this market's going to go higher, Nvidia is going to be there with it, leading higher. So to me, this is the one of all the stocks that I'm most interested in. Yeah, I bought it in pre-market today and had to sell it before Powell. And I think that 120 resistance is a real something to be careful of. But if it rips through that 120, I'm just gonna have to go big on this one because I like this stock a lot. I want to own it. I had to sell it because it sliced its 50, and now when I buy back, as it goes through its 50, I'm going to buy a lot bigger in the next time around. So we'll see. It's 119 after hours. I'm going to get to that in a minute here. That's it for the Mag 7. I just want to go over some of the earnings reports and some of the moves for earnings reports. And you could say that, Boeing has probably bottomed here. Talk about retesting the lows over and over again. And now it popped 2% today. On earnings, I don't know. I'm not going to talk. Boeing is pretty much backed by the government. It's pretty much a defense name that's just backed by the government. So they're too big to fail. Essentially, we can't let them fail. This is a Norwegian Cruise Lines reported nothing burger, flat as a pancake. Wingstop reported a good quarter, and I thought it was going to move higher, but Wall Street had other ideas. It did come up to its 50 and got rejected, got the Matambo treatment and closed, kind of the mid-range, the lower mid-range of its session. lower third probably, yeah, 32%. So yeah, the bottom third of it's range, daily range, not the greatest response to a decent quarter, 45% sales growth. This is Kraft Heinz, and this one jumped 4% on pretty lackluster earnings as well. You can see there's no growth here. Red numbers is no bueno, but you know, sometimes these things are get so oversold that the shorts just have to cover and it forces the stock to go up, but that's not a long-term trend to trade. Humana, down 10% after their earnings report. MasterCard reported this morning and had a nice response here, a little better than Visa, I would say. Jumped 3.6%. Let me see, CCJ, the miner. I wasn't even looking at the miners today. Okay, below the 200, no thank you. Let me see, Generac reported and had a nice move higher and then close at 25% of its daily range. So not what you really want to see. Near that 155.35 buy point, we've seen some wonky moves around earnings, and it takes a couple of days and like a delayed reaction, then it takes off. So now that earnings are behind it, you know, 25% earnings growth, I might take a swing at that one, or at least put it on our ready list. Johnson Controls, they reported, and the reason why these guys went up was because Elliott Management's getting involved here. And it's got a buy point there at 74.23, but you can see it closed 18% of its daily range. AMD reported last night. Oof. I just wanted to show you that, okay, get this out of here. Sorry. It traded up. You know, this is a problem with stocks trading below their 200 is they come up to resistance and get rejected. That's exactly what happened to AMD today. You know, you can see it closed 33% of its daily range. Not what you really want to see. It ran up to its 50 and then got rejected. I mean, excuse me, it ran up to its 200 at 154 area and then got rejected. So it needs to trade through there. You know, just because it's below it doesn't mean it can't, you know, trade through and build a bigger base here. And I think that's what it'll do, but it's it's not a leader like Nvidia. Broadcom, another stock. Well, I should get to these later on. This one had a nice 12% move, kind of like Nvidia. And there's winners and losers in the semiconductor names. I mean, you look at Rambus, these are just disastrous. And you see Nvidia doing well, and you see Broadcom doing well, but there's a lot of them that aren't doing well. And so like there's winners and losers, and there's a stock pickers market within the semiconductor space. All right. Couple more earnings reports, reactions, Radware, Computer Networking Group. 22%, we'll take that. Earnings growth, triple digit. Thank you very much. Let's take a look at this on the weekly. Yeah, breaking out of a stage one base. Now you're seeing the earnings trend due north, and closed 98%. So that's a nice hammer candle. The other one in that group, the networking group, was Arista Networks. You know, bounced today above its 50, closed well above all of its moving averages, moving, you know, more than 11% higher. So that looks good for Arista Networks. And then UNM, Unum Group, this is an insurance group, and the insurance groups have been hot lately. This one jumped 6% and closed at 79% of its daily range. So just letting you know, just kind of reporting the news here from those earnings reports. All right, I did mention the banks, and the banks are still strong. I mean, you know, even though Powell, you know, he was kind of hawkish at first with his press release, but then he got in the press conference a half hour later, and he was really dovish. So the market liked that, and you could see these financial stocks as soon as he spoke. They really popped there. You know, they went right up, and of course, you know, the initial move higher, and then it came back down. But overall, Stifle, I still like this, you know, as it broke out of the base, getting extended, but a lot of these names are looking really good to me. WAFD, this one has those, you know, David Ryan Ants there. Yeah, it's extended on the daily, but you look at the weekly and you can see it just broke out, and what's this? The group is 22, yeah, 20 ranked 22. So it's a strong group. And when they get extended like that, so I say you don't want to chase them. Allow the moving averages to catch up. It's got that buy point of 34.07. So that is definitely a stock of interest for me. Alley was another one that made a new high today. And they all had pretty much the same profile. When Powell spoke, they just spiked and then came back down right away. So that knee-jerk reaction is something you want to avoid and stay away from. And we saw that in a lot of these stocks today. Fiserv, this is the one that God, I believe they're from Milwaukee, Midwest financial services stock. Right there, you call it 160 buy point. So this one's still actionable, I believe. And I like a lot of these banks, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, and this is another one, earnings line gradually going due north. You can see the consolidation in the breakout here from Fiserv, SBFG. I wrote this one down. Oh no, come on, Marty. This one doesn't even have any volume. I think that's why I wrote it down. The small micro caps, 113 million. So anyway, ignore that one. All right, I've got to get to some of the names in the are starting to perk up here in the software groups, and there's some that reported after hours. I'm going to get to that in a minute. This is a recent IPO, Computer Software Security Group. The group is weak. I mean, you know what happened to CrowdStrike recently, and then Palo Alto and Zscaler have been struggling. But this is one that's intriguing me at 37.40 here as an early buy point. It's trading right near there. Not a lot of history here with trading, as it's only been IPO'd for a little while. Ooh, I don't like the earnings line. Scratch that. No, just an IPO of interest, one that I write down as I follow the IPO groups. This is another software security name. Gen Digital, I got to look at the weekly chart on this one. This to me looks like it's just breaking out here of a, kind of a stage 1A, stage 1B, stage 1C base. Just a slow mover, gradually pushing away from the base. And since I'm with this exercise, I just got to remind you about CrowdStrike. Even though the Nasdaq was up, what did I say, 2.64% today, this one's still down. Do not try to catch this falling knife. I still have people saying CrowdStrike's a buy. No, it's not. It's way below its 200. More bad news is coming out. I mean, people are, companies are suing them. They want compensation, and it's just a big mess. It's going to take a long time for it to recover. So put CrowdStrike out of your mind. Another software name is Parsons. They report, I should have had this on my earnings list. This one gapped higher out of a cup with handle. This one looks fantastic. Definitely, this is going to be a power earnings gap play. Closed near the high of its daily range there. 99% of its daily range. Yeah, that's kind of near the high. 13.9% above its 10. So that is a strong breakout with volume. I wouldn't chase it up here, but I would watch it for a little bit of a pullback when the moving averages catch up. Because then the investors, institutions buy, they don't buy all at once. They'll be back later on for another bite out of this Parsons apple. Okay, and CVLT, they reported, I want to say Monday. The reaction was Tuesday. They had a big move Tuesday, 22%, and followed through today with a 1% move. So yeah, there's some hits and misses in software. I kind of like, in software, I don't really know what a lot of these software names do. I like some of the bigger names. ServiceNow here had a big move, then pulled back to the 10 and found support. And that's what I say. Instead of chasing up here, wait till it pulls back to a moving average, and maybe you could buy a bounce. So, because if you buy up here and then it comes down, you're going to be underwater and you're going to feel terrible about yourself. I made a big mistake. MOD, this is another one that I should have had on my earnings list. They reported and ramped 19% higher. Thank you very much. We'll always take a 19% move, won't we? And then CARR, this one has been on our ready list. They've already reported it was up 1% today. Still looking actionable, but pushing away from its base. Fix, this is another one that I like. This one is just consolidating within a base, had a nice 8.75% move today, not bad for Fix. And then a TT Train, they make quality equipment. I like it above that 347.33 there, just a tick below it, but this one looks good, just consolidating in a base. That's the HVAC stocks. Some more financial stocks, ARES, Financial Investment Management, just pointing this one out because the cup with handle, but they have a earnings report on Friday morning. Nice move higher today. Probably some shorts getting out of this one before the report. Another one in this group, KKR. This one broke out, but then closed near the low of its day today, but low of the session. But this one's already broken out, pulled back to the 50, found support, pulled back to the 50, found support. So you got to wait till it pulls back to a moving average. KKR. And the last one in this financial investment group is a Stepstone Group. Made a new high today. And it's just trending with its moving averages. Looks pretty darn good. Okay, some retail names. Boot Barn. Boot Barn is killing it. I just went to one a couple weeks ago. They have one here in town. I just had to go and check it out. Not all boots, by the way. This one is consolidating within a base, and like Nvidia traded below, it's 50 for a little while now, rallying through. So this is what I'm expecting Nvidia to do in the next couple of sessions or next week, and then get up to that 134.61 buy point. So this is actionable right here. Earnings due next week. Boot Barn looks pretty darn good to me. It's just trying to emerge out of this, you'd call it a Darvis box. I guess we call them Darvis boxes. I guess we can call them. Just emerge out of that box and make new highs. We like that. And then ONON, they report the 13th. Okay, so they got some time. Rallied through its 50 todays, still consolidating within a base. That one looks better than Deckers or Crocs or the other shoe groups. And then Shark Ninja. This one is just a flat, nothing burger today. I mentioned that it broke above its downtrend line, above its 50, consolidating within a base, and they report next week. So I'm definitely watching the Shark Ninja. All right, that's it for retail. That's enough. It's over. I got to go to the Biotech. CORT, broke out of this base and just keeps moving higher. Made a new high today. You can see this kind of a base on base pattern and then moving higher. CORT looks pretty darn good. Making new highs, we always like that. TGTX, this is the most frustrating stock in the world. The CEO is not going to announce when they reported earnings. Last quarter, they reported earnings on the 1st. So you think, okay, he's probably going to report on the 1st of August, which is tomorrow. But nope, they haven't even announced it. Market Search has the 7th, but it has a red asterisk there. That means it's not confirmed. And he just leaves people twisting in the wind. I mean, he could have announced tonight and report tomorrow morning. This guy. I better not say anything. Very frustrating CEO. ELVN 11 and Enliven Therapeutics. It's got this base here, and this is one of these speculative names, right? It was trading near a base, trading tight, pulled back to its moving average and bounced. And now it's right there near that 26 level. So I like the technical action. I like the chart pattern. I don't like, I like to see the stock with earnings, but that's what you get with these biotech stocks, So anyway, the last group I'm going to go over is the defense group, because the defense group to me is still, the leaders, and we're talking about defense and not the weight loss drug stocks or the power stocks, the energy stocks, or the AI stocks. I think that's still a little defensive. You think the defensive stocks are defensive? Well, they are. This is Raytheon or RTX. Rahul, thank you, Rahul. He corrected me that United Technologies had merged with them, a merger of like companies back in 2019, but they just changed the name recently from Raytheon to RTX. And gosh, what was it? A Carrier and Otis spun off of United Technology, so they're getting leaner and meaner. But the Wall Street, definitely like this earnings report, and it's just been up every day since. July 25th, they were up 8%. It just keeps trading higher, getting extended from the moving averages, getting extended from this base. But Raytheon or RTX looks fantastic. Thank you once again, Rahul, for correcting me. HWM, this is Howmet. They reported yesterday, gapped higher and tacked on more gains today of 2%. You know, I put this on the regular list. I thought it would be a little closer to that moving average. Yeah, defense stock moving like that, that's pretty impressive. GE, this thing's just marking time within the base, trading tight. Had an inside day today. You can see it tried to break out following earnings and pull back to its moving average, ran up 3 days and then pull back. And now it's just kind of marking time, allowing these moving averages to catch up. I like this one. Probably not going to break out to new highs until next week, but I bought it. I like it. I think it's going to go higher, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. FTAI, another stock that reported last week, looks like just surfing its moving averages now, looking pretty good. ERJ, they report next week. It's trying to break out of this double bottom base pattern and getting extended now. You don't want to see it getting too crazy before its earnings report. And then the last one is CW, Curtis Wright. They report next week as well. And this one broke out today of its base. So I do believe I had that one on my ready list as well this week. And that one looks good. Yeah. 282.27 buy point. So I had an early buy point here. I wouldn't chase it up $12. Sorry. Especially ahead of earnings. All right, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up, except for I lie. I have one more thing, and that's tonight's earnings report. And I was kind of going through them before I logged on here. And of course, the big kahuna is Meta, which is going to help the QQQs tomorrow. It's up 5%. Once again, they talked about cap spending, which Microsoft talked about, and that should help Nvidia, which is up another 2% after hours. We'll see what happens with that one tomorrow. But Meta had a good report. Meta's up 5%. That's definitely going to help the Nasdaq and the QQQs tomorrow once again. So the stochastics on the QQQs are proven to be true. Carvana reported, and they reported a really strong report. This one's up 12% after hours. So it's going to be trading at new highs above 147.25. It looks like it is after hours. You got to wait and see what happens and see how much volume is involved in this after hour trading. It's pretty much the wild, wild west. Transmedics Group, trading above its 50 now. Looks like it could possibly make new highs tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. They had another strong report. ZETA, ZETA, this is a software name. They're blasting higher, 12% after hours on a strong report. This one already broke out, a couple weeks ago back here on July 15th. So it's been a couple of weeks. This one's been rolling. Somebody knew something there, huh? KD, Kevin Durant reported, pretty decent report, up 1%. Okay. ARM reported. Now ARM beat on top and bottom, but the stock was down. Yeah, 129. So I got to look more into that. I'll have more in the morning on all of these names. Qualcomm. Yeah, they had a strong report. The surprising thing about Qualcomm was the CEO talked about the automotive group being strong. So once again, I'll have more on that. I didn't get into anything in depth or in detail with that one. Qualcomm, ARM, and LRCX, another semiconductor play that is down 2% after hours. So, once again, hit and miss on those semiconductors. This is a semiconductor equipment stock. So just gonna have to wait and see. WDC, I did not see anything from them, down 4% after hours. I do not like that. MU's up after hours, and I think MU's a basement bargain here. It's 35% off its highs from 157 down to the low yesterday of 102. I know it's below its moving averages, but come on, man, that is a bargain basement deal. It undercut the low of the old base. So this will be a new stage 1 base here that it's forming. So I don't know. I kind of like Micron here. I like to buy on strength. I don't like to buy on weakness, but you know, sometimes you got to bend the rules a little bit. That just seems like it's too cheap for me with the earnings line now, you know, heading in the right direction. Cyclical group, it just sold off. I think that's a buy. Anyway, I digress. I got to get to some of the other names we reported tonight. IoT Samsara, yeah, that's a nothing burger. I didn't look at their report. That stock just trades sideways. I cannot stand this stock. It was up 36.91 last December, and now it's 38.28. So what is it up? 1%? Whoopee. You know, just that stock drives me crazy. You got to sell the spikes on that one. AEM, I didn't even look at the report here. It's not up much. So anyway, I'll have more in the morning, like I say, at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. Thank you for watching.